Alright, so this is her latest video that she put out a couple days ago. I will try and put a link to this if I can remember somewhere in chat. It's a very good video. You guys should check it out. But I'm just going to, comment, throw my thoughts as she talks. Who knows? Maybe it'll get kind of spicy, and I'll say something controversial, and then I'll get canceled. And if I get canceled, maybe we can get more people to come watch. All right, so let's get to it. Also, let me know in chat if you guys have any issues with the audio.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but thankfully that did not happen.
Yeah, isn't that good? No new wars, chat. No new wars, not a single new war. We haven't seen any wars. Nothing's happened. Okay, we're totally fine. No new wars.
But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way. Welcome back to
Chat, should I go on a rant? Should I go on a rant, chat? Because as we know, the FBI... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be a tangent, but I'm gonna do it. What was it? FBI NSW2U. That's what it was. Alright, so this ticked me off. Oh, where's it here? This is the article I looked at earlier. Yeah, so basically the FBI seized a whole bunch of basically piracy websites, mostly on behalf of Nintendo. And the big one is NSW2U. That was a Switch piracy site. And so, they seized the site, so you can't download Switch ROMs anymore. Which, okay, I mean, it's piracy, so it's not like I care that much. But, yeah, so the real problem with this... Oh, yeah, see, they got all these guys. Which, I mean, sucks for that. But it's like, oh, okay, so you can find this, you can seize all that, but you can't find the Epstein files. You can't release the Epstein files like, you were supposed to. Like, they were making all those big promises. But no, we can't get the Epstein files. All we can get are losing websites that offer video games for free. So, that's wonderful.
to the Shoe-on-Head channel. If it is your first time here, run. I am Shoe-on-Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you...
Yeah, and she does a good job. I know she's a lefty, but I do appreciate her thoughts. It's nice of her to care.
You have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's issues. One of the...
She looks almost exactly the same, just her hair is longer.
Main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like politics, you don't care about politics, but politics cares about you, and it will enter your life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But thankfully, I have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News.
Sponsor, well, we can skip that really quick. Yeah, well, not a lot to say here. She's just kind of describing the situation.
Thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? Now, let's get back to the video. With all these issues men are facing, they seem to
Yep, we sure didn't skip the ad.
be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class.
Am I crazy, or is this completely pointless? You don't need to do. You know, let me pull something up. Green. I don't even know if it's a green text. Yeah, here it is. Here you go. It's easy to find. This is literally all you need. All you need to know if you want to talk to men. Literally just that. Just be nice to, men are easy. Just be nice to them. As a man, I can confirm. You can't tell, but behind the monstrous avatar, I am a man. Kind of. But yes, you just have to be nice to us. That is literally all it takes. You know what? I'm going to click on this just so you can see it better. Yeah, there you go. Men are easy. Just be nice to them. And yet, somehow, many women fail this simple task. Sad. It's sad.
Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing.
This is sad. $20 million to learn how to say, "Hi. Will you vote for us? We don't hate you." Sad. So sad.
It's nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games.
The video games are about to get worse, chat. We thought ads in the NBA slop, the yearly sports slop, were bad. We thought that was bad. Now you're gonna get ads in your FIFA, your NBA, your Madden, whatever you're playing. Now you're gonna be getting ads for the Democrats. It's probably gonna go something like,
"Oh, we hate you, but we still want you to vote for us because the Republicans are super racist and sexist. So vote for us or you're a bigot."
This is painful.
Among other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying. Now, as you can see here is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty...
I should choose Asmongold, who's a super rich guy. I mean, yeah, he's pretty normal in some ways, but still. He's a super rich guy who lives who lives in a self-made dump.
Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling in a...
No, this is not a normal guy, chat. Do not let anybody ever gaslight you into thinking... She's making a joke, but do not let anyone ever gaslight you into thinking that Destiny is in any way a normal guy. Also, why is this at 480p? Do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking that Destiny is a normal guy. He is not. His wife, he allowed his wife to sleep with other women. Excuse me. He allowed his wife to sleep with other men. Women's a little different. He allowed his wife to sleep with other men. That is not a normal thing. That is not a good thing. And he also has blue hair for some reason. But, you know, yeah, that's fine. You can color your hair whatever you want. But yeah, this is not a normal guy.
A dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates. But moving on, here is another young man. We think we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrat.
No comment. That's just another male VTuber.
Instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoe.
All those first two comments were based. Mostly.
Ooh, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats don't bear that out now today.
Yeah, it's about on par for The View. Don't watch The View chat. Just don't do it.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim.
I just want you to know that even though people call me right-wing, I'm not really right-wing. I'm more of a libertarian. I hate Fox News. I hate Fox News so much.
Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Who is raising these men? I'll give you a hint. It's not their dads.
A lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families, but
Okay, first of all, I mean, you can even look up the statistics and that's not true. It's something like 60-something% of men want to have families, whereas only 50% of women do.
there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down.
So I will say, and I'm guessing Shu just doesn't follow him, but Steven Crowder actually did a really good reaction to that Tommy Loren bit. And we might look at that if I can find it after this video. But yeah, Steven Crowder, he's gotten a lot better recently about that kind of thing. And I mean, it's probably because he went through like a very, very messy divorce. His wife was very treated him very brutally. So it's probably something to do with it. But yeah, we might look that up.
Exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on.
He's got a point. I mean, all these people talking about quote-unquote men's issues, but then they're all annoying women. No offense to Shu.
1 second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. Alright, let's go. Wait! I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tech.
Anyone else remember Gamer Fuel? Like, there was a specific Mountain Dew called Gamer Fuel. Let's see if I can find it. I think I had it like once. Is it still a thing? It's still around? Okay, this thing says it's discontinued. Mountain Dew, Game Fuel. Oh yeah, it's discontinued. Did I have this? I don't know. It's vaguely familiar, but I don't know if this is what I had. Okay, so it looks like there were a bunch of these. Okay, so there were a bunch of versions. Yeah, I'm thinking the like 2005 version is probably the one I had. Oh, 2007. There it is. Yeah, it was one of these. I think it was this one. Was it this one? I don't know. I just remember there was a lot of Halo branding around it. Yeah, it was Game Fuel, Citrus Cherry, returned. Spin-off flavor, Wild Fruit. I think this might be the one that I tried, though. Might be the World of Warcraft one. But I remember seeing it most with the Halo 3 release. Those are special times. We used to get all these big video game releases, and everyone was so excited, and now everything is just slop. There's so few new games coming out to get excited over. Like, don't get me wrong, there are games, but just not as many. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's hop back.
Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura...
Okay, first of all, I really don't think this is a Gen Z thing. You know, you can crap on Gen Z all you want. Those stupid haircuts and that weird lingo, all the Fortnite dances. Oh God! But I am very confident that this is not a Gen Z branding. I'm pretty sure this is a bunch of those. This is just another one of those stupid terms that the news people always come up with for everything. Like, you know, there's all those terms that are related to like work, like quiet quitting and all that. It's always these news people come up with this stuff just to come up with some fake news story. It's just garbage.
Laura, I got to tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big...
Gee, what would help with that? Maybe women not rejecting literally every guy that's under 6 feet tall? Like, that is literally how, you know, everything works. You know, you want to get a date, it's inappropriate to ask girls out in person. Then you try the dating apps, and they all just basically filter you out unless you're at least 6 feet tall and look like Henry Cavill. So yeah, I really don't think it's the men's fault.
A big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families.
Okay. But I already reacted to this part, but yeah, no, it's the women who it is the women who are a smaller percentage of people who want families, not the men.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
So first of all,
also, Tommy Loren is one of the worst people. Like, she's they go, oh, conservative. Oh, yeah, she's a conservative. Well, if it's so conservative, she is a full-on feminist type who is super, like, pro-abortion. No, you know what? She is pro-abortion, and yet somehow she's still considered a conservative. Which is a little weird to me, seeing as conservatives always say abortion is bad. But then I guess, you know, conservatives, this is why I'm not a conservative, because it's basically, you know, the conservatives are like, oh yeah, we don't like abortion, but it's totally okay if you like abortion. You can kill all the babies you want. Just please vote for us. You know, that's all we really care about, is getting into office. So yeah, but you know, let's keep going.
First of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile...
Okay, yeah, so I was right. That is literally what it was. Some guy just randomly said it, and the news hopped on it and made it into some big story.
Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs, f*** you. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too. Is the amount of young...
Yeah, that feels like pretty accurate to just about every newsroom. Yeah.
Young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it.
Okay, there are two things I want to point out here. First of all, I'm just going to talk about this DoorDash thing, the financing. This is one of the worst things to ever happen to the economy, and I personally, I think it started with mortgages. We should never have allowed the idea of having to mortgage something so basic as your own house. You know, you should. It is not normal, isn't the right word, but it is not good that you have to take out a giant loan, spend the bulk of your life paying it off, just to buy, you know, a house, just to buy your basic shelter. And, you know, just to buy and own your basic shelter. That is completely insane. And ever since then, it's just been the same thing for everything else. And now we live in a world, you know, we thought the future would have flying cars or jetpacks, Iron Man suits, but nope. All we got are micro mortgages. But yeah, so what was the other thing I was going to say? It was the thing about guys living, you know, the guys living with their parents, all that. It's like, I don't think most guys really want to live with their parents, especially once they're like, you know, once you're out of college, you don't really want to live with your parents, right? Like when I was a kid, I actually did want to stay with my parents. I was terrified of going to college because, you know, my parents and I were very close. But, you know, once you've been in college, once you're independent, you don't want to be, hey, Sergey, what's up, buddy? But yeah, so like once you're out of college, you don't want to be living at home with your parents. You know, you want your privacy, you want your independence and all that. The guys that are living at home with their parents are either doing it consciously, one, as a ways to save money, or two, because they literally have no other options. And now I will say that in my case, I don't live with my parents. I have my own place. I don't have a house, just an apartment. But, you know, the fact is, like, I would like to buy a house, although I'd like to move before I do that, because I don't really like where I live. But the thing is, it's just really hard to afford anything. You know, I had a job up until recently, but I was laid off, and what's basically going on is that, you know, a lot of guys are just getting laid off left and right and being replaced by, you know, cheap foreigners on H-1B visas or the like. So it's not like guys aren't trying. I know guys are trying, but it is just really tough out there to do anything. And that's not the guy's fault. That is the fault of government policy and these mega corporations trying to replace us with foreigners and other groups, which I'll get to later.
Come on. Get with the times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating
I'm just going to let her cook for a second.
market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me shit. I was born in the—
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of these boomers and feminists talk very, very similarly. You know, it's all, oh, men bad unless they can provide for, you know, the women. You know, man up and marry these single mothers, that kind of thing. You hear that a lot from these like boomer conservative types and from these feminists. So, yeah, it's weird.
born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young—
Yeah, you're totally right, Sergey. That is exactly what Fox does at this point. They're just going for clicks. And I mean, what is the average age of the Fox viewer? It's got to be like 80 by now. Like, the only reason Fox is popular is because they're the only big news channel that is not like super lefty, like CNN and MSNBC and all that. Fox is like right wing, but they're still not good. I don't really think they're very good at all.
Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main—
Yeah, you know what? How about this, Tommy Lahren? If you want, how about you give up your cushy job doing absolutely nothing of value on Fox News? I will take your job spewing all sorts of BS, and then you can go get married and, you know, do all the stuff you're talking about.
The main problem with this brain-dead, boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best.
Yeah, she's right. The boomers, you know, I think my parents are technically boomers too, although my parents are immigrants, so it's a little different. But you know, it's not all the boomers, but yeah, the boomers, their generation basically strip mined the economy, took everything they could for themselves, and then left. Basically, all we have now is the leftovers, and they also refuse to give it up. So you know, even if they're dying off, a lot of them, they're not giving for example, they're not giving their kids or grandkids inheritances. Instead, they're spending all their money wildly and then like doing like reverse mortgages on their houses. So they basically sell their house to the bank, and then the bank just like lets them stay there. It's more or less how I've heard it works. Or they sell their houses to like BlackRock or something, and then, you know, once you sell to BlackRock, that house is basically gone. It's going to be a rental forever.
They're not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my God, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't—
That is true. That, you know, back in their day, you know, they do all the back in my day, men were men and all that. But it's like a lot of these boomers will not acknowledge how good their generation had it. You know, in like the 50s or whatever, you could just finish high school, get a job at a factory, you know, work your way up the ladder or whatever. And there were a lot of opportunities because we didn't have all the H-1Bs, illegal immigration, all that. You could, you know, it was very easy to meet people. You could, you know, it was not weird to ask girls out in person. So you could, you know, ask out a girl, you get married, you know, you can get married pretty easily and support that whole family, you know, buy a house, car, maybe 2 cars, and support your whole family all on that one income, all on that one basic factory job. Can't do that now.
didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lahren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this? They should—
Yeah, the boomers literally sent all our manufacturing off to China. So, yeah, if you're wondering why it's hard to find manufacturing jobs, that's why they offshored so much of our manufacturing.
Have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and Zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
Well, look at...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I love how Trump says, China. China is ripping us off in trade. They're ripping us on everything. We can't have it anymore. Okay, yep. I remember years ago, back when some friends and I would play Rocket League, I would just, in the chat in Rocket League, I would just be typing Trump quotes. So there were a bunch of times when we'd be like losing in the game, and I'd just be typing, I'd type in the chat, "We are losing." And then the next message I'd type would be, "In trade." And then the people would be like, wait, like the people who are playing against would just be like, wait, what? What's going on? I think at one point my Steam name was also Bush Did Nothing Wrong. So they'd just be like, wait, what? The people would just be so confused. It was a different time, man. Back then, you could have fun on the internet back then without getting banned for everything. Yeah, and you know, I think you can guess what the implication of Bush did nothing wrong was.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat?
Oh no. She's noticing. She noticed.
I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving.
Yeah, that's the fluoride and the atrazine in the water supply, all the chemicals, all the stuff Alex Jones is always screaming about. That's why.
Being right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so...
That... I was not expecting that. But you know what? I will accept it.
Maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact f***ing opposite. According to Pew Research, 64% of women...
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, I had the numbers mixed up, but yeah, it basically it's the same, roughly the same thing I was saying. So yeah, she says 64% of women under 50 don't want to have kids, whereas only 50% of men say that. So yeah, half the men still want kids, but less than half of women do.
of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of...
Yeah, Sergey, I'm hoping that the RFK Jr. stuff helps. Did you see that the message I posted the other day about Trump getting Coke to put sugar, like real sugar, back in their drinks instead of the corn syrup? I'm like, if I hadn't just dropped like sugared sodas entirely and just switched to entirely zero, like the diet zero drinks, I would be excited for this. But now it's like, gee, I just stopped drinking the sugar entirely. Thanks. But yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, some of that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stuff helps us out.
percent of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same.
There's actually a lot of what happens with our food is, yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to get rid of aspartame, because there are a lot of artificial sweeteners. What I would like to see is something like allulose, I think, is a big one that is new, and it works very similarly to sugar. So, but it's 0 calorie. I would like to see some of these newer sweeteners tried out, as opposed to some of these older chemical sweeteners that I guess kind of mess with your gut or whatever. I wouldn't even drink that stuff, but like I am so addicted to soda that I need something. and it's better to drink that than to drink the sugar stuff.
The same. 60.
But yeah, the thing with the food, one of the things I've noticed that they do with food that really is bizarre is they will make like, fat free this, fat free that, but then they'll just pump it full of sugar, and so it ends up being just as bad as actually worse than the original, because now you've lost the fat, and fat actually helps keep you full a lot of the time. So, but then they just pump it full of sugar instead. So now it not only does whatever the food is not fill you up, but now it's also going to make you fat. Yeah. But yeah, there's that. And yeah, all the artificial garbage in the food that's not necessary. Like I bought some ketchup the other day. So normally they sell like Heinz ketchup, right? Whatever. You can buy now this no sugar added or something like that ketchup that is like way lower calorie, and basically they don't add any additional sugar than like what's already in the tomatoes and stuff. It is way lower calorie, and it literally still just tastes like standard ketchup. So it's like, why is this not the standard ketchup? Because it literally tastes the same as far as I can tell. There's no disadvantage to it. Yeah, no sugar ketchup. It's fine. It tastes totally fine, as far as I can tell. Yeah, Sergey, it's not just that people want kids is difficult due to the economy. Yeah, I agree with the economy stuff too. But it's every aspect of it is harder today. It is basically the problem. It's hard to find someone in the first place. It's hard to become financially stable. It's hard to, set things up in a way that your kids will actually be better off. But yeah, I'll keep going.
63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence.
So that's so that's another reason, and that goes along with what you said, Sergey. For men, the only reason they don't want kids a lot of the time, like a lot of those men who said they didn't want kids, for a lot of those guys, they said, well, I can't afford it. But for women, it's just, I don't really feel like it. I want to be independent, but it's like, I mean, is that really, like, I love my independence too, but is that really how you want to live? Is that, like, when you get older, you want, like, you're going to want kids. You're going to want to have a family.
Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll
get this brunch and mimosas thing. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not a morning person, but why would you want to get up specially just to go eat brunch? Like, dude, just save yourself the trouble. Sleep in till noon. And then just, like, I don't know, have a glass of milk or something.
They'll never have fun again. They'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10.
Yeah, like, I mean, what's more fun than kids? They're like, yeah. Oh yeah, you could make your own brunch, but I mean, I'm lazy. I'm lazy too, Sergey. I'm very lazy. I hate making things. But yeah, it's like, I mean, if you've ever spent time with kids, they're a ton of fun, like, especially once they get to that, like, once they get past like the potty training phase, they're just like so much fun to hang out with. It's like, yeah, why would you not want that?
10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys. All of my
remember seeing this video years ago, and it was just as obnoxious then. Basically, like I'll play the video, but basically she's just obnoxiously complaining about, oh, my friends can't find any good guys. Oh, they're great. Oh, but the guys are so not great. Oh.
All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are
What the? God, I hate YouTube's changes. They just make the site worse every time. Okay, so first of all, she says, all my friends are attractive. Yeah, you say your friends are attractive. Something tells me I can take one look at your friends and half of them are going to be ham planets. Well, yeah, of course, that's true, Sergey. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that in a bit, Sergey. But yeah, something tells me that she says, oh, all my friends are attractive. She's probably referring to their jobs and not to their physical appearance. Which, look, I know it sounds shallow, but that is the thing that guys look at most. Okay, but it's not that hard to be at least reasonably attractive as a woman. You just have to be not fat and like take decent care of yourself.
successful. All of my friends.
I see. There you go. All of them are successful. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if they're successful, because if they're successful, I mean, what does that do for the guy? Absolutely nothing. Right? Because, you know, the guy is the one who's expected to make all the money anyway, so you being successful just means you're more likely to be annoying. Well, that's all true, Sergey, but like, you know, personality and all that, but like that comes later, you know, like you don't meet people really based on their personality usually. I'm specifically responding to, she said her friends are attractive, and attractive is, you know, that's generally like, you know, do I just want to go up and talk to this person, you know? Because personality is, once you talk to somebody, that's when, you know, personality comes in. But
have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us.
No, it's you. It's definitely you. There are tons of great guys out there. Tons of them. You know, me included. But you just don't want them. Like, you literally, like, that's what happens, and I think the dating apps are heavily to blame for this. But yeah, these days women will just straight up reject very fine, very decent guys because they don't hit all the they don't hit all the markers. They're not the 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6-figure income, 6-inch, you know what. But yeah, the standards are way too high.
It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a
Yeah, see, there you go.
Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
Yeah, that is completely true. I would literally like if there were a I haven't been to Walmart in like 5 years. But if some, I don't know, grocery store cashier, for some reason all the grocery store cashiers are like elderlies, or they're like Somalians for some reason. I don't get it. It's weird. But yeah, if some like cute cashier were nice to me and she was just like, oh hey, how's it going? And she she actually expressed interest, I would marry her, right? I would absolutely marry her. Because that's like the most important thing, is that she's, once again, I go back to men are easy. Just be nice to them. Many women fail this simple task.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, yeah. I think it's a biological thing.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But what?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Sergey, I agree that it would be ideal. The problem is that if you have to be really careful about trying to go talk to people in public. because one wrong move, you say the wrong thing, or even you just look the wrong way, and the next thing you know, you say, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And she might go, "Ew, creep," and then whip out her phone, and suddenly you're on her TikTok, and say, God forbid you have a career. I think, Sergey, you're like a social worker or something, right? So she, your boss might see that or something, and next thing you know, you're unemployable, all because she called you a creep and blasted you on her TikTok. Hey, Neo, how's it going, man? Yeah, hope you've had a good couple of weeks with the family. Yeah, for real, as girls have a plethora of options. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Neo, I literally remember every compliment I have gotten from a woman over like the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, and they were all from like older ladies, like they were fairly older than me. One of them wasn't like an older lady, but she was like kind of middle aged. She's married with kids and all that. And she like complimented. I want to say it was like I was wearing a leather jacket, and she complimented that. And then like the other two were just like older ladies who said, "Oh, I like your eyelashes," or I like your hair. You have nice hair, that kind of thing. And that was really nice. I literally remember all three of those compliments. And I also literally remember like more than anything else, like this is totally random, but a cute girl just smiled at me at Target the other day. And that did more for my self-esteem than literally anything else over like the past year. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a little easier in college, Sergey. If you meet someone in college or even in like high school, it's a lot easier because people are a lot more open to talking to you. But yeah, once you're out of school, it's like there's just like nowhere to meet people because you can't talk to people at work because that's like HR harassment stuff. You can't talk to people really anywhere else. So it's what do you do?
But wait, there's more. She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me,
Why do you want to send us to war so badly? I have to ask this question, Tommy Laren. Why do you want to send us guys to war so badly? Are you just trying to get us to go die for Israel? Is that what it is? Because I ain't dying for Israel, Tommy Laren.
protect my family, make money, but I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a...
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, the propaganda is, Sergey, that they get all these women to, I think it is like an actual thing where like Israel like gets a bunch of like good-looking women, and Tommy Lahren is good-looking, although I think at this point she's wearing a ton of makeup. But yeah, they get all these attractive women to just like basically go shill for Israel. But yeah, like what she said, I don't think a guy needs to get anything out of it. Yes, a guy needs to get something out of it. Like he needs to, yeah, she is totally nuts. Which means she's probably, very, very interesting to date. I will say that. She's probably very interesting to date. Or at least she was. But yeah, it's like, of course guys need to get something out of it. That is literally how most things work. There's no point in marrying a girl if she's not going to, again, be nice to you and, take care of you as a guy.
And a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never before in
Yeah, so that guy on the left, by the way, So this guy, second from the left, I know who he is, Andrew Wilson. Yeah, he's on that Whatever podcast, if you've ever seen that. I can't watch it anymore because it's just too depressing. But he's on there all the time. He's a very, very strong debater. I actually think I vaguely remember this clip, and Andrew Wilson basically tore into her later on in this clip. But yeah, he's basically he is a very pro guy. So there's that.
If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Yeah, so basically he's saying, yeah, you think you shouldn't have to offer anything. He's basically saying, yeah, so if you're saying that probably means you have nothing to offer.
Man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer
Facebook comments. That means there's not going to be anybody under the age of 60.
thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them.
Oh, actually, you know what? That's a nice comment. I appreciate that comment.
Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93 and they have
Oh, you know what? I think these are comments on that, like, Fox News bit, not on the Piers Morgan bit.
0 children between both of them. You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boom.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. No matter how much makeup you slap on Tommy Loren, it's not going to make that bit any better.
Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450.
Okay, see, I can't tell if this comment here, you know, when I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. I can't tell if he's trying to crap on young people or if he's being sympathetic.
$50 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams.
Oh god, this comment is obnoxious. It's like, yeah, some guys live at home to save money.
I'm a loser, run from me, than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out.
Her kids got very, very lucky in that aspect. Although something tells me that her kids are probably like 40, so it's probably a little different.
Out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we...
Yeah, I'm gonna let her talk for a sec, but there's something I want to say.
No, we know
that.
you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my sons stay home. I'm trying to push them out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask. Is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old? My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably...
Yeah, so this is something that really bothers me. I've never understood this. I don't know if it's just like an American thing or a boomer thing or what it is, but I've heard so many of these stories of, you know, people saying, oh, I'm kicking my kids out as soon as they turn 18, or, you know, kids getting kicked out when they turn 18, and then, you know, years later they might come back or they don't come back. You know, years later the parents are like, oh, why don't you ever come visit? And it's like, well, you kicked me out, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, is this just like a boomer thing, or is this like an American thing? I genuinely don't get kicking your kids out when they're 18. Like, in my family, I think my uncle lived with his parents. Well, like, at some point, his parents lived with him and his family. But, you know, my grandparents lived with my uncle right up until the day they passed. Yeah, right up until the day they passed away. You know, and it's like, you know, even with my parents, like I said earlier, yeah, I didn't want to leave when I turned 18. And they were really not thrilled at the idea of me going off on my own, going off to college when I was 18. Like, you know, they really wanted to keep me at home. And even now, they want me to come visit all the time. It's like, I just don't get that. Like, why would you want to kick your kids out? It's like, wouldn't you want to get as much time with them as possible? You know, especially when they get older and it's like, you know, you're not going to see them as much. It's like, yeah, wouldn't you want to, like, you know, take care of them, have them around as long as possible? I just don't get that mentality. I really don't. And I don't understand, like, where that comes from.
And this. And honestly, why the would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook? Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
Yeah, I would really appreciate someone who can cook just just because of all the time it would save. Like, I can cook here and there, but I don't like doing it just because of all the, it's just the big time sink. So it would be nice if there was someone who could, just if she could take care of that,
Bone apple teeth. Now, unfortunately,
Wow.
Tommy Lauren wasn't the
What a
only
meal.
one pushing this stupid lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it, referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day.
I remember this. It was, a month ago? It's really, really obnoxious because they're, instead of cutting out all the, the welfare queens, spending all your tax dollars on all sorts of nonsense, they're blaming young guys who can't get a job. Hey, Fractured, what up, buddy? Yeah, no, Shuon had made another banger video, and I'm just reacting to it. But yeah, it's like this Weasley guy right here, Speaker of the House, is trying to gotta pump the numbers up. Well, you know what? As soon as this video's over, I'm gonna be one of those. I'm gonna be one of those numbers. Except I'm not sitting on my couch; I'm sitting on my PC. But yeah, he's trying to redirect the welfare queen thing. He's trying to redirect the hatred for the welfare queens, which is rightly placed, to single guys who just can't get a job. Probably, I doubt most of those guys are on Medicaid. I'm guessing most of these 29-year-old males on their couch playing video games, I'm guessing most of them don't even have health insurance because they just can't afford it.
Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day.
Also, Mike Johnson is a total failure. He's a complete disaster. Not to get all political, but he's a total disaster, total waste. I don't know that much about Steve Scalise. All I really know about Steve Scalise is that he got shot like years ago. That's about it.
All day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention.
Fox News again.
The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan.
It's a phrase these people made up. Yeah, Fractured. I need medical for, a few reasons. But yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. Really, I don't think we should be paying any kind of income tax. I think all the taxes that we pay are just complete theft. Inflation is also theft. Federal Reserve is also theft. We get rid of the IRS, get rid of the Federal Reserve, get rid of like 90% of these government agencies. Yeah, exactly, Sergey. Like, do they not see how difficult it is to get a good job after college, and how people are undervalued despite your education? Yeah, absolutely. It's what I was saying earlier. Like, I have a college degree, I have a career and all that, and it's like, yeah, I should be able to get a job very easily. Like, I'm really good at what I do, but they would rather replace me with some cheap, incompetent H-1B from India or China. Yeah, right. Fox News and the rest of the conservatives love losing. I think it's their fetish. Yes, they do, Fractured. In fact, I think that the unofficial motto of the Republican Party is "Lose with dignity." I'm trying to remember where it's from, but I remember there was some TV show years ago. And there was like, you know what it was? It was a Disney Channel show called Good Luck Charlie. I don't know if I can find it, and even if I could, I'd be afraid to play it on stream because, Disney. But it's like the kids' basketball team is losing, and the kid's dad comes in, he's the coach, and he's like, you know what, we're going to lose, but we're going to go out there, we're going to lose with dignity. And then the kids all start chanting, lose with dignity, lose with dignity, lose with dignity. And it's like that's the Republican Party right there. Their chant should be lose with dignity, because that's like all they do. Even when they win, they lose. They're amazing at finding new ways to lose every day. Your job doesn't treat you well. You've been in the same job for 6 years, so you went back to school in your 30s. Yeah, Sergey, I understand that. My parents have been pushing me to go back to school, but I'm like, I really, really don't want to get a master's degree. Okay, okay. For you, Fractured, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Dignity. I just hope I don't get copyright claimed. Videos. Might not. It might not be there. It might just not be clipped anywhere. Yeah, I don't think there's a clip of it anywhere. But yeah, no, it's good. I remember it's one of the early episodes. Because I remember watching the show when I was a kid. The also the main girl on the show is really hot. But yeah, it was one of these early episodes. But yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. I probably have the whole show somewhere. But yeah, that's too much work to go find it. But yeah, okay, yeah. Sergey went back. I assume Sergey, you just went back to get like a different degree or like a different major. But yeah, like going back to school, that's something. If you want to like change careers or something, you can do that. But like just getting a master's degree, that's like the Asian thing is like, oh, you can't figure out what to do, go back to school. It's like, it might work in some things, but like in my field, more schooling is not really going to help me at all. I'm just going to end up back in the same situation. Yeah, and Fractured. Then there's the MAGA figs that keep getting the Felford Awards. It's also tiresome. Yeah, Fractured. That there's that too, and it's like, dude, Alex Jones to some degree has been talking about it, even more than Alex Jones. Owen Schroyer, he's been like absolutely killing it on the whole like Trump failures thing, because like I voted for Trump all three times, so it's not like I'm some lefty weirdo, but Trump has been making so many missteps lately. He just keeps failing on so many of his promises. We didn't get the Epstein files. We didn't really get the important parts of the Kennedy files. We didn't get the big tax cuts he promised. The tax on tips was basically a joke. Yeah, I mean, basically everything. I think the only big promises he did keep were freeing Ross Ulbricht, freeing the January 6th victims, and then there's one other thing he did. Oh, yeah, and illegal immigration. That's it. Yeah, that's. I think basically those are the only like big three promises he really properly kept. And even with illegal immigration, it sounds like he's making exceptions. He might be making exceptions for like agriculture and stuff, which that's not good. Yeah, Stephen King agreeing with Trump. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can this. Let me see if I can find the Stephen King Steen files. Let me see if there's a. Oh, here we go. Where's the tweet? Okay, well, there's no picture, but yeah, basically he said the Epstein client list is real, so is the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, basically implying it's fake. But yeah, what makes it really funny is if you've ever, I've never read a Stephen King book, but I've heard enough about it. And oh, you know what? Let me pull this up. Normal World, Stephen King. So if you've never seen Normal World, it's I think it's hosted by The Blaze. Okay, fine. YouTube. Yeah, there you go. This one right here. If you've never seen the sketch, you should totally see it. Normal World is hilarious. But yeah, if you know anything about Stephen King's books, for some reason.
A lot. I don't follow. Okay, let me be blunt.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me explain. On page 1397, after they defeat Pennywise, they're lost in the sewers, and Beverly says, you have to put your thing in me, and then all 6 of them in a row do that. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't follow. Okay, let me be blunt. It's a group sex scene with a bunch of 11-year-olds. It's completely...
Yeah, so Yeah, by the way, you guys should check out Normal World if you haven't. It's mostly a podcast, but their sketches are hilarious. But yeah, so that makes you ask a lot of questions about Stephen King. You know, it explains some of what's in there. Yeah, I know his books are supposed to be good, Sergey, but it's yes, Fractured. They're like 11. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, Fractured. I mean, yeah, I wanted the border wall too, but the first term I was like, okay, I kind of get it. It's hard to get the funding and all that with all that. It's fine because in the first term he was hamstrung by everything, but this time it's all on him. But yeah, the Stephen King thing, it's like, yeah, a lot of people just saw the movie and they cut a lot of that stuff out for the movie, so they don't realize what a weirdo Stephen King apparently actually is. But yeah, if yeah, just like I highly recommend looking up Normal World even if you're not into like the whole podcast thing, which I mean I don't really watch the podcast that much, but if you just like look up their sketches, they have some really banger sketches. I think. Oh yeah, here you go. There's playlists. There's just a whole playlist of sketches, and they're great. And they have a couple of specials once in a while where they just do like all sketches, which is awesome. But yeah, yeah. I would just watch the sketches at the very least. The sketches are really good. They're really funny.
Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy, and he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Okay, getting a wife and getting a job are basically the same thing these days, except getting a job is actually easier. Because, at least in my experience, I sometimes, I'll apply to a bunch of jobs. Sometimes I'll get an interview back, or like I'll get a recruiter reaching out to me. Women don't express interest in me whatsoever. So, yeah, all I'm going to say is it's basically the same thing as a guy. Yep, exactly, Fractured. Exactly. And at least with a job, there are things you can change. You can change some stuff, but you can get a degree, whatever, to get a job. You can't really do a whole lot for a date. There's not a whole lot you can do for yourself.
Oh,
get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into Jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now, because it's very obvious what demographic they...
Yep, I've been saying it for a while. Republicans are not your friends. They are less terrible than the Democrats, but they are not your friends. Remember that they will happily... Yeah, Always Sunny's I've only seen a little bit of it, but yeah, it's pretty good. I do like, what's his name? Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito's great. And he totally should have been the voice of Detective Pikachu. But, exactly, Fractured. No party's your friend. But, yeah, but the Republicans pretend to be your friend now, and then it's like, no, it's not that the Republicans are actually like doing anything to attract young men. Actually, they're doing their best to repel young men. They're just not doing as good of a job repelling young men as the Democrats are. Because keep in mind, the Republicans, they will scream, "Oh, the mark of the beast" and all that, and then the next thing you know, they'll suddenly implement 1984, just to censor adult content that you, as an adult, have every right to view. Yep, exactly. Corporation sees you as an open wallet. Parties see you as a number for the ballot. Yep. Well, the way the mega corporations see you is they don't see you as a customer anymore. They see your money is their money, and you are just in the way. And the parties are the same thing. Your vote is their vote, and you are just in the way.
think they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job, lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact
And yeah, Fox News only ever talks about illegal immigration. I don't think even they talk about like all the foreign work visas, which are a serious problem that Trump refuses to do anything about. He just wants to import infinite. I hate to pick on just Indians. H-1Bs are mostly Indians, but it's also heavily Chinese. But you know, he just wants to import all these infinite foreigners to replace American people because it's cheap for the corporations.
The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
Open borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a lot
me.
of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy?
I miss that Bernie Sanders. He at least pretended to care about us. Now the only good old guy out there seems to be Ron Paul, and, well, I don't know how long he's got.
Go. A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year.
This one's kind of personal to me, chat. This one's very personal to me. The H-1Bs are taking my job. And they're doing it worse. And somehow I'm supposed to celebrate them.
Some of those job positions include...
And do not... So, I'm all for celebrating, you know, the death of diversity and all that, the DEI stuff. But do not let people gaslight you into thinking this is just DEI failing, because it's not. It's not... This isn't just some consequence of DEI finally failing. It is companies just trying to get cheaper labor. That is the biggest impetus for this. And also, do not let companies lie to you that they're replacing people with AI. They're not. They're replacing some people with AI, but, you know, like developers, engineers, they are not... It is really not easy to replace an engineer with AI because you're just going to end up with a bunch of unusable spaghetti code. They're replacing you with cheap Indians and cheap Chinese. And cheap whatever else they can find. Fractured. I'm confused. I thought of her and the Night Dude split. I thought she was full commie lefty. Yeah, so I assume you mean Armored Skeptic. Yeah, so she was always pretty lefty. She's like, I think her politics are kind of like, if you know Short Fat Otaku, I think her politics are somewhere around there. She's pretty lefty. Yeah, Armor Skeptic, yeah. So she's pretty lefty. But the thing is, she's, like, level-headed enough. And I think she's the more, you know... I think she's more in, like, the sort of lefty, the hippie kind of area, the left libertarian-ish area. Which, you know, I can respect that. And, you know, she obviously actually cares about... she cares about men, obviously. Because I know she has a... You know, she's married now to some other guy, and... I don't know if she has a son or a daughter, but, you know, I think she's a decent person overall, you know. Yeah, no, absolutely, Sergey. Companies don't care about people. The only time a company is going to care about you is if, like, it's probably, like, a small company and you're, like, friends with the owner or whatever. Then, you know, maybe. But, yeah. I wish we could see a return to America being built on small businesses. Unfortunately, the government has been set up in such a way that small businesses are always screwed. So
data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men.
I am in that 82% chat.
And electronic engineers, which are,
or at least I was,
are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visas.
You know, Elon Musk is one of those people where I am so torn on him all the time, because, like, he does some cool stuff, and then he turns around and does something like this, or he turns around and complains about people not being in the office. You know, there's no, with most office jobs, there's no point to being in the office, but, you know, he's one of those people that wants people to be in the office. But it's like, dude, come on, Elon Musk. Yeah, this is what they want men out, women in, even though they don't really want the jobs. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, women are actually, in general, I know some women are perfectly happy and fine doing these jobs. But they are by and large less happy being in the workplace. Yeah, Fractured, I don't know. I don't know if trusted is even a relevant word. I think Elon Musk is just doing what Elon Musk thinks is good for Elon Musk. But like, he's done a lot of good things, but he's also done a lot of not good things. And I mean, like Tesla, even with Teslas, I don't necessarily trust Teslas because their software is all proprietary, closed source, and I think they added a lot of locks onto everything. So what was my job before YouTube? I was a software engineer. And I'm a really good one too, by the way. I have built a ton of stuff. I don't know if saying some of the stuff I've worked on would dox me, but like, let's just say I helped build the app for a very large theme park that you've definitely heard of. I worked on some stuff for various hotel chains. What else did I do? I built some apps for we'll say major professional athletic organizations. So yeah, I've worked on a bunch of massive stuff too. So yeah, it is interesting, especially when the most cool thing, yeah, not being careful, Fractured. For sure. Yeah, it is interesting, Sergey. The most interesting is when you work on something user facing that has like a big user base. And then even better, it's even better when you get to see the results of what you did. So, you know, I rebuilt the app for a major public transportation system. And I think I left that company before it was released, but I believe it's out. And my work is now being used by thousands of people. And there's just something so incredibly cool about that. And in that sense, it's kind of like an artist or even like a YouTuber, as a YouTuber, when you see like people watch your videos or check out your live streams or whatever it may be, it is really cool to just see like, people see your work and they like your work and it just feels good. And, I'm sure that's how artists feel. And it's similar with software, except usually in software, you don't get the credit because your name's not anywhere. Yeah, Fractured. Well, kind of Fractured. That's part of why I've been able to torture James. The other half of that is not having any friends or any social life. So I save a lot of money by doing nothing. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Fractured, that you got to be on the that you got to be QA in a video game. That is pretty cool. I assume they put your name in the credits too. That has to be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I wouldn't mind hanging out with people more in real life. It's just, again, it's hard to find people, hard to meet people. Yeah. Well, thank you, Sergey. Yeah, the problem with the video game industry is that everything you've heard. So I've actually done a little bit of amateur game development back in college. Oh, that sucks, Fractured. It's too bad you never got a copy. But yeah, I've done a little bit of amateur game development in college. I won a copy of. We had like a competition in college where I made a game, and I won a copy of. I think it's the original Hitman for PC, and this wasn't. This was like a CD-ROM copy. I don't know where it is, but yeah, it was a Unity game, and it was pretty cool. I can't describe it too much, but it was like an asymmetric co-op game. And it wasn't just me; it was like a team of 4, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny. I never actually opened the game, Sergey, but I've only ever played Hitman Absolution, but yeah. So I've done some amateur game development, and it's cool. But the thing is, what I have learned about the game industry is that everything bad you hear about the software industry, multiply that by like 10, and then that is the like AAA game industry, because like in the game industry, you're working on contracts. So you're usually not like a salaried developer or anything. You're on a contract all the time. There's like so much more crunch. You're always crunching, and I don't even know if they pay very much overtime. And yeah, it's very brutal. Yeah. So, well, see, Sergey, you say contract, and now I can't tell if you're asking me about the contracts that I talk about, or if you're referring to the game Hitman contracts. Because we were talking about both topics. Yeah, Neo. That bothers me so much, Neo. You know, no hate on you, Fractured, but yeah, that bothers me so much. But I've had to learn to just like bite my tongue when people say like "would of" instead of "would have" or "would have" the contraction. I've had to learn to just like bite my tongue because it's it just bothers me. But I don't want to upset people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're referring to the literal contract, Sergey. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I don't know too much about social workers, Sergey, and I think you're in Canada too, so there's probably a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, in software, yeah. So you can either work by contract or by salary. Yeah, but salary is better. But even then, there's no, especially these days, there's very little expectation of like loyalty or anything. But yeah, we got to finish the video chat.
On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When
Yeah, so I liked Vivek Ramaswamy, and she's spot on here. I liked Vivek Ramaswamy because actually he's kind of like me, I believe. He is he's Indian, but he was born here. Thing is, he is completely wrong about H-1Bs, and they're lying to you. What happens with H-1Bs is that these are like often the most mediocre people. Some of them are good, don't get me wrong. Some of them are fine, some of them are good. But a lot of times these are the most mediocre people that they can find. They hire them for cheap. So what happens is companies will go, we want to hire someone for this role, and we want to hire an H-1B. So what they'll do is they'll make a ridiculous job posting. They might even interview some people, and then at the end they'll go, because it's all subjective, right? And in the end they'll just go, oh, you know what? Oh, well, we can't find any Americans who will like meet all of our requirements. And so like we need to hire like some H-1Bs. And then the government will just go, oh, okay, yeah, I guess you met the requirements. You look for people, you couldn't find them. Okay, we'll give you some H-1Bs, have your H-1Bs, and then they interview the H-1Bs. And people in these countries, of course, America's great, so they all want to come to America, right? And so what'll happen is, they'll bring these H-1Bs in, and H-1B is supposed to be a temporary visa. So what happens is these H-1Bs will come in, and they know that the company can fire them and kick them out of the country at any time. So they will take worse working conditions, lower salaries, because like technically you're supposed to pay them as much as you would an American, but with the way that salaries work, you can't really, they're not really comparable between people. So, right, like you can be in the same role as somebody else, but you can be paid very differently, and they'll say, oh, it's performance based. So what'll happen is they'll pay them lower salaries, much lower salaries, and then these people, because they want to stay in America, they really want to stay in America. So it's not good. It's not really good for them either. It's kind of like giving a kid like a ton of sugar. It's not, the kid likes it, but it's not good for them. So with the H-1B, they'll take much worse working conditions, poor treatment, work ridiculously long hours, all because they don't want to be, kicked out of the country. And so that's what happens. And so that's why instead of hiring Americans, the companies will hire cheap foreigners who really want to come to America. So that's how this H-1B thing works. So yeah, she's spot on here when she says they're being exploited, because they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're being treated better than, like a lot of indentured servants, but in a sense they are indentured servants. So yeah, that's my rant on H-1Bs. And I'll say one more thing here with the H-1Bs. I have literally, I've worked with a lot of H-1Bs. Again, some of them are nice people, fine people. But I have had them openly tell me, that they will cheat on their interviews. So they will, have a friend of theirs do their interview for them. For example, if, they have a friend who's better at, whatever the interview subject is, they will literally have their friend take the interview for them. And that way they get into the country, or that way they get it, they get the job. So yeah, there's a lot of slimy stuff going on with the H-1B program. These are not the exceptional people. There's actually a completely different visa for those exceptional people. I believe O1 is the visa. And yeah, it's very, very different.
Conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year. He told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend."
Oh, Elon got so butthurt when people started calling him out on H-1Bs that, Elon got so butthurt about the H-1Bs that he actually, and there's no proof of this, that this is exactly what happened, but he got so butthurt that he actually started removing the verified check marks of people who are big people who are calling him out. So I remember Owen Schroyer lost his check mark for a while after calling out Elon Musk for H-1Bs. So Neo, should H-1B even exist in your opinion? So no, specifically because we have the O1 visa. And I'm not against bringing people here. Like, my parents are immigrants, for example. They didn't come here on H-1Bs. They're I don't know. I won't dox my dad, but they came here because my dad actually has a very, very in-demand job. And he's very good at it. I love my dad. He's the best. My mom too. But so they came here for a job that is very in demand, is still in demand. We can't get enough people to do it because it's a job that sucks. It's a great job once you're in it, once you've been doing it. But, to get into the field, to get all the way in there, it is brutal. So it is, my parents are able to come here for that. And again, I'm not against bringing people here for things like that. But I don't think H-1B is the right way to do it. If we want to bring a small number of people from, here or there, great. we can do that. You know, we have O1, and maybe we can bring a few people here and there from various countries and so on, just for just because it's cool to have different people come in and do things. Yeah, that's fine. But no, I don't think the H-1B program itself should exist because it's just a net negative for everybody. It's ironic because Elon is an immigrant himself. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's what he's claiming. I don't know Elon Musk's full history, but he claims that he came here on H-1B. But I don't know if I believe that. Yeah. So you remember that, Fractured? Yeah, you remember him de-verifying people? Yeah, going on a lot of rants today. It's kind of fun.
So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's f yourself in the face. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the illegal thing is I do agree. Illegal immigration is a bigger issue because it's literally illegal. But H-1B is not good for anybody either.
There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement, ordering DoorDash and playing video games.
Yep. They conveniently forget about the DEI, ESG stuff as soon as it doesn't suit their narrative.
But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dyeing industries are male-dominated, while...
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Fox News, Sergey. They always contradict themselves.
Many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed.
Yep, pretty much. Women can be whatever they want, but men still have to be the traditional provider, all that stuff. So men have to be men, but women can be men if they want to.
Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed...
Neo, yes, I agree, Neo. I always say Asian men make the best women. Like the, where is it? I forget if you... Oh, right there.
Absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that... Tammy. There is absolutely... Oh.
Yeah, so there you go. Here's an example. Here's an example for you, Neo. I'm just gonna leave that on the screen for a second.
I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so... maybe. But,
Yes. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, seriously, like it's like all the men and women's spaces stuff. Nobody ever complain. They all screech about men being in women's spaces. Men dressing up as women to be in women's spaces and the transgender stuff, and look, I don't really care that much about the transgender stuff. Be transgender, don't be transgender. I really don't care as long as you're not screwing with kids or something. But it's like they screech about that, and conservatives screech about that. That they will screech about women's sports and all that. but they will never turn around and say, hey, why are the women always demanding access to men's spaces? Because it's always either women's spaces or mixed spaces. Men don't get to have spaces. But they never complain about that. It only ever goes one way around. Let's team up and call James a femboy today for just. I mean, Sergey, I can send him a femboy, but the thing is, I think they're doing a Switch stream today, so if James isn't at his PC, it's a lot less entertaining to gift him a game because then he can't show it on stream.
Winner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's, in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like...
Yeah, so I've seen some of these stats, and basically young women actually earn more than young men in the same jobs up until somewhere in, I think, their 30s when it flips. But yeah, when you're young, it is usually women who earn more money.
Like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like.
And by the way, I just feel the need to point out, I made very good money up until, I was laid off recently for years, and I never got a single date. And I'm not I'm not the best looking guy. I'm pretty average for the most part, physically. But it's the standards are just way too high. So they're like, oh, I want a guy who makes a lot more money than me. Okay, well, I'm here. But it's oh no, not you. You're not 6 feet tall. You don't look like Henry Cavill. And these people will turn around and call. I'm just gonna look this up. See if I can find a good image of what I'm explaining here. Dalglish. I didn't know his middle name was Dalglish. That's a weird name. Okay, well maybe I can't find a good photo. Oh, God, this is gonna seem super gay. But I just want to explain something. Okay, yeah, here you go. See, I've literally this picture, or from this scene in Superman. I think it's in Superman. I have literally seen women refer to this as dad bod. They're like, oh, you don't need to have a great physique or anything. You just need to look like this. And it's this is one of the top 1% of men in fitness. This dude is a Giga Chad right here. I wish I looked like him. And yes, women will refer to that as dad bod. That is what women refer to as dad bod. And yes, if you know Camelot 331 on YouTube, he's also a really, really super fit guy. He is spot on when he explains that when women say they want a dad bod, this is what they're referring to. They're not talking about the standard skinny fat look. They want this. Yeah, exactly. No, so it is ridiculous how much these guys have to go through. If you've ever seen Henry Cavill, I love Henry Cavill. He's such a cool dude. If you've ever seen the kind of work he has to go through just to get in shape for movies and everything, and on top of that, usually for shirtless scenes, these actors, what happens is they actually have to dehydrate themselves, so they won't drink any water for a day before they have to do these shirtless scenes. So it's yeah, you can see he's got he's got an 8-pack here. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, a lot of them are on steroids too. I don't know if Cavill is, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he's never really commented on it, as far as I know. But yeah, so it's if I have to look like that, basically you have to be Henry Cavill just to get attention from women these days. And no, absolutely no hate on Henry Cavill. I think he's a very cool guy. Everything I've seen of him, he loves his, he supports his fans. So, good dude. He gets screwed over way too much. But yeah, this is what women expect now. Yeah. And here I want to lose some weight to maybe tone up, but if that's dad bod, I never will have a chance in hell. But then I'm 40 working retail. Yeah, fractured. I know what you mean. I've been trying to lose weight. I took James's advice and switched to diet sodas, and I think that's helped. But I still. So I very much have these stereotypical Indian genetics where I'm like, I look like a potato with toothpicks. So I've been working out for like 3 years, but I've barely built any muscle just because I suck. But it's like my arms and legs are like toothpicks, and then I have and then my torso is like a potato. I just have like the rest of me doesn't look necessarily fat, but then I just have like a giant gut, and that's like peak Indian genetics. So it's like, yeah, yeah. No, it's heavily diet. That's my problem, I think, because I like eating out too much. Yeah. No, sir. Yeah, Sergey, you go to the gym every other day. Yeah, I don't go to the gym. I have a set of adjustable dumbbells and I just work out at home. But I work out 4 days a week. So yeah, India, not Native American, Indian like India, because my parents are from India. So yeah. Well, fractured. I think it's good to do both because the nice thing is that once you do start building some muscle, it's not a huge effect, but whatever muscle you build will actually. Yeah, exactly, Neo. I sometimes I'll say gas station, not casino, because I think it's funnier. But yeah, so once you build a little bit of muscle, the muscle will actually increase your metabolism because your body needs to sustain that. Your body needs to use those extra calories to sustain the muscle. So if you work out while you're dieting, you actually are probably going to lose a bit more weight. Or a bit more fat, anyway.
Look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage.
Yeah, that's concerning. I poop a lot. What? Sergey, what? You poop a lot more? What does that have to do with anything? I don't think that has to do with your metabolism. I think that's more like how much fiber you're getting in your diet. But yeah, this is concerning because like I have a friend. Yeah, coffee would do it. Yeah, I have a friend who got married a few years ago, and he and his wife just had a baby. They're very nice people. They're very nice people. He basically bought a house, and his wife, his wife is very, very sweet. So I don't think that she's necessarily like one of those crazy people. Like he had, I think, before they even got married, he had bought a house specifically so that they would have that. Like that is what you're basically expected to do these days, is you have to basically have everything set just so that, just for a woman to kind of just show up and take over. Yeah, fractured. I'm guessing trade school doesn't count as college.
The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree.
They did the meme, chat. They did the meme. They did the meme. Okay, I don't see it here, but here we go. Know your meme. I appreciate you know your meme. You have it. You have best. Rolled in. Why are you showing me this? Yeah, world ends tomorrow. Women and minorities hardest hit. Yeah. Women most affected. They did the meme. Is this septum theory? Sorry, I just had to look this up. Septum theory, nose ring theory is a theory coined linking feminist ideologies. Yes, this is accurate. This is accurate. I was not expecting to see this today, but it's accurate. You see a nose ring, you know it's a lunatic. You know it's a lunatic, especially if it's the septum ring. You know as much, Sergey says, you know as much as they hate hookup culture. I understand what happens because these things society. Yeah, some people don't want to be dedicated. Well, it's a combination of women who want to get with like those perfect guys, but those perfect guys, there we go. Spam. Sorry, just. Twitch is such a disaster. There's a spam bot on Twitch, and fine, I'll just ban it. Yeah, so it's a combination of women who want these they want the perfect guys, and those guys have a lot of options because all the women want them, and because the women want them, they'll give it up for those guys, and then they'll go, and so they're sleeping around doing that. And then those guys are sleeping around because they can, and then you have the other guys who can barely get any interest from women. Who, if a woman suddenly does decide to hook up with them, then of course they're going to take that opportunity. Because what else are they going to do? You'd be stupid not to, So, yeah. Yeah, this well, yeah, there's that too, Sergey. Economically, society. Yeah, so Fractured, you've seen the nose ring thing too. Yeah, I've noticed it a long time. I think especially this type, I don't like nose rings in general, but especially the septum piercings, I think they're really, really gross looking, because from far away it just looks like you have a booger. It looks like you just have boogers in your nose. Slosh, what up, buddy? We're still reacting. We're still reacting because I keep going off on tangents. Yeah, Bebop from Team. I think, is that the pig character, Fractured? Is that the pig character? Yes, it's the pig character. It's the pig character. Wonderful reference. There's also the oh man, there's actually the Mario Kart World let me see if I can find it. I know I posted this a while back. It was like no, it's not here. There's no meme here. Well, okay, so there was somebody posted a picture of the cow in Mario Kart World. Let's see if I can find the photo of the cow. Yeah, so tweet here. Okay, no, fine. But yeah, you can see the cow. The cow has the septum ring, because this is what the septum rings always end up looking like. Right. This is what the septum rings end up looking like. You end up looking like a cow. And someone posted it. Someone posted this picture when Mario Kart World was announced with a cow, and the caption was, big day for bitches with nose rings. So, yeah. Neo, you think septum? Neo, you like nose studs? I've never liked any kind of nose ring because nose studs to me they just look like you have a weird mole or you have like bad acne. But yeah, that's just me. Slosh, you're adding your Metallica. Nice, Slosh. I'm excited to see your Metallica medley. Yeah. Unfortunately, chat, the problem is that despite the nose rings, you can tell this girl is a complete lunatic, and I would let her ruin my life. But anyway, back to the reacting.
Degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making...
Yeah. Yeah, Neil, I didn't know if you wanted to, I didn't know if you wanted to tell people about it, but yeah, Neo and I are working together on some stuff, so I'm excited. I'm really excited to work with Neo on this stuff, on stuff. But yeah, so she mentioned the birth control. So this is just something I have to explain. A lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but the thing about the birth control pills is that they are actually probably a source of the dropping testosterone in men that we talked about earlier. So what happens is birth control is heavily... so basically when women take a lot of birth control, their urine ends up excreting a huge amount of estrogen, because I think that might be roughly how the birth control pill works, is that it's just a huge amount of estrogen that like floods your system. And so they end up excreting all this estrogen, and that ends up in your water supply because it's not filtered out. So our water is just being more and more filled full of estrogen. And so that's one of the reasons that testosterone is dropping. And then the other thing is, if you've heard, the birth control pill, because it messes with women's hormones, it makes them more likely to be interested in men that they normally wouldn't be interested in, and not interested in men that they otherwise would be interested in. So a lot of times, I didn't even know there were birth control pills for men, but yeah, that's weird, Sergey. But for women, a lot of times there are stories about how women will stop taking birth control after they get married, and then they realize they're not actually attracted to the guy that they're married to. And then, next thing you know, divorce and all that. Yeah, it's so it's not good. It's not good. Next thing you know, she's dragging your kid out to California to chop his ding-dong off and turn him into a girl. That got dark. But yeah, that is a thing, and it is one of the... So, they'll screech about... we were talking earlier, the Republicans, they'll screech about, men and women's sports, the transgenders, but they won't help a poor guy whose ex-wife is basically kidnapping his kid, taking him to California to do the surgery to him. Yeah, fractured. It is probably the same story. The poor kid, his poor dad. The dad's name is Jeff Younger. He's on Twitter. I follow him. Yeah, he's the poor guy. But yeah, that got dark. That got dark. I think so, fractured. Yeah, I think it's like the kid's stepmom or something. But yeah, judges almost always give everything to the mom in these cases, which is another reason that men are afraid to get married and all that. It's like, the most important thing in your life is going to be your kids, and if she's just gonna take my kids away from me. That's no good.
Making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all. They can do anything. They can be.
Yeah, Slosh. There's that too. And that one got turned into a reality TV sideshow, the Jazz Jennings thing.
Anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class, I am Miss...
We're worried men are not making enough money, but also we want to make the same amount of money as men, and we want them to make more than us. Yeah, they literally want something that is physically impossible.
On head, I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate, income going to the 1%, rose.
Now, I'm not sure that reducing the tax rate, the top tax rate, is that meaningful. I mean, I'm against taxes in general, but I'm not sure that that is the real problem here. I think it's more to do with inflation and wages just plain not keeping up.
Rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the.
That is a problem. I mean, you know, to be honest, I think a lot of CEOs don't actually do all that much. They just kind of sit around, play golf, and throw tantrums. Like the CEO of Chase Bank, for example, he threw a huge tantrum about people not being in the office and stuff. I don't think he does any real work. I really don't think he does.
Than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but we don't have to get into that today.
Oh, yes, we do. So I'm going to get a lot of squawking for this, but I'm just going to say it. Women in the workplace was not a good thing. It has been a real problem in a lot of ways. Because, you know, the women are more depressed that they're in there. It's created all sorts of minefields. But the biggest thing is, and we're gonna have a little economics lesson here, chat. We're gonna do some basic economics. Supply demand curve. So if we take a basic supply and demand curve here, let's look at. Let's just use that. So here you go. We have a basic supply and demand curve here, right? You can see, let me see if I can just, here we go. Okay, so now as you know, as I'm sure you know, because you're a smart chat, you have your supply curve, the blue. You have your demand curve, that's the red. Equilibrium, that is your price, okay? So now, chat, I want you to go on a little basic economic journey with me here. So now I want you to think about this from a labor market perspective. So think about demand. That's the jobs, available jobs, right? Now you have. Good movie. God damn it, Neo! I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to be an economics teacher. So, you know, you got your supply curve here, right? Supply, this is the labor pool. This is your labor market. So we're talking about the supply of labor, that is workers, basically. Demand, that is jobs. And where they meet, that is your price. Now, price that is going to be the price of labor. That is to say, wages, effectively. So think about what happens when you flood the supply of labor with basically what happens when you flood the supply of labor, but you don't change demand. The jobs don't change. The only thing that changes is the number of workers. What happens is this blue line is going to move up, right? And so on the left side here we have price, that's the vertical quantity, that's the horizontal. So the blue curve moves up, right? So now I can't draw on this. It's too bad there's no way to annotate it. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to have oh, excuse me, it's not going to move up. It's going to move down. The blue line moves down. Really, it moves to the right, but it's going to look like it's moving down just because of the way the curves work. What's going to happen is you increase the quantity, and your price is going to fall dramatically. And this is what they wanted. So when price falls dramatically, that is to say the wages fall dramatically. So you see where I'm going with this. So if you let's say double the labor supply by forcing women into the workplace, suddenly you don't have to pay anybody as much as you used to, because now you have double the people competing for the same jobs. And this is the same impulse behind all the illegal immigration labor, all the H-1Bs, all the foreign workers, all the diversity. That's what this is really not like the low-level HR types, but your high-level globalist types. That's what the real push behind diversity is for, is to get more people working these jobs, because ultimately the goal is so that these big companies can pay people less. That is the impetus behind all of this. So yeah, that is the major problem with women in the workplace, is that it flooded the labor supply, it flooded the labor market, and completely suppressed wages.
Today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success. And
that is extremely true. Hard work, there is no guarantee anymore that hard work will pay off. I mean, you can see that in company loyalty, right? Like, you can work for a company really hard, make them so successful for years, and then suddenly you're laid off.
And the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there...
My name is Andrew Ryan, and I come to you with a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his own brow? No, says the man in Washington. It belongs to the poor. No, says the man in San Francisco. No, says the genderqueer in San Francisco. It belongs to everyone. No, says the man on Wall Street. It belongs to the billionaires.
Is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. Whether it's...
Yeah, you're right, Fractured, exactly. You can work like crazy, show everything, do everything, and then they just never give you anything in return. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, what she said just there, that phrase, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, that applies to just about everything nowadays, with dating a lot. It seems to be that with dating, the women just aren't worth all the work you have to put in. The jobs, they barely pay. I mean, a lot of these jobs want to pay you so little that you would actually lose money for working the job. Like, you would actually lose money, like, trying to work the job compared to just doing nothing.
Whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying...
really just don't understand men. I mean, just read this.
What's the
This is the New Yorker. It looks like just from the font.
What's the matter with young male voters? If Kamala Harris loses the election to Donald Trump, disaffected young men will inevitably shoulder much of the blame for the simple reason that the children are our future, and nothing is scarier than angry dudes.
I mean, I guess it's good they're scared.
Saying this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zoran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed democratic socialist...
Hey, Wingus Dingus, welcome, man. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, maybe young men are tired of being the whipping boy constantly. Yes, yeah, they are. They are, exactly. I don't know if I still count as a young man. I don't know. Do I still count as a young man? I don't know. But I mean, I know I am.
Won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something.
Yeah, it's like you can only hear, you're the problem, you're the bad guy so many times before you just finally go, you know what? Screw it. You're right. I am the problem. I'm going to be the problem, and I'm going to be the biggest problem you've ever seen.
Something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
I do like Tucker Carlson. He's not always perfect, but he's spot on a lot of the time, and he's completely right here. He is completely right. If your hard work is not paying off, a lot of people are going to go, okay, well, if my hard work isn't paying off, I might as well just be a leech. I mean, you just proved to me that my work isn't meaningful, so why not?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire...
Do I really have to say it, chat?
Generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they...
Yeah, the thing about the angry fighting-aged men, here's the bigger problem with that. In the olden days, they would try to drum up war. They are trying to drum up war, and they just try to draft people. But I don't think that's going to work anymore, because I think, while at the same time, yeah, young men are so like disillusioned that they don't care. They also really, really hate everybody who's trying to screw with them. So if you try to draft the young men, I think there's a good chance you're just going to... I think there's a good chance that that the people who try to come and pick up the young men they're drafting are probably just going to get shot. Like, there is just no appetite whatsoever.
When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East.
Wait. Speaking of the $20 million on how to talk to men, did you guys see the Ham Planet that they hired? To reach their name. Okay, Olivia. Yeah, there it was. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, this was a couple months ago. Okay. Democrats use obese woman to court male voters. This is not a joke. This was a real thing. It's hilarious. It's like, what were you even thinking with this? Four disastrous years portioning 2024 election, Democratic Party's admission about mailbag voters and blah, 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 and I don't really care about that. But yeah, men hate men hate the Democrats. So they hire a female Democrat activist to attract men back to the party. While you might expect them to pick a young, attractive woman to appeal to young men, they instead chose morbidly obese, left-wing content creator Olivia Juliana. Not only is she about 500 pounds, but Juliana said that she has spent a lot of time on college campuses and found that young men, particularly frat boys, are almost always pro-choice, doubt, pro-gay marriage, I don't think they care, and support Black Lives Matter. I really doubt that young guys support Black Lives Matter. I mean, yeah, this is who they think will appeal to young men. It's like, I don't think you could pick a worse person except maybe, let's see. I don't think you could pick anyone worse except maybe Gorlock the Destroyer. You know, this might be if you really wanted to do a bad job, this is who you would pick. But it's like they would have been better off hiring like Zendaya, who is, I mean, she's not ugly, but she's also not terribly appealing. Yeah, I mean, I guess picking Gorlock might at least be kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, if they actually wanted to appeal to men, they'd lean into the whole AOC, big booty Latina. You know, they'd lean into that meme. Yeah, let me see if I can find it because it's just such a good meme. Oh, no,
hey guys.
Here we go.
AOC, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina. I want to do a little selfie. I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been better off just leaning into that, honestly. Don't give them ideas. Yeah, I mean, and she's kind of attractive. She's not like, she's not like a 10 out of 10 or anything, but I kind of see it. But like, they could have just leaned into that. They could have hired, what's her face? That Sabrina Carpenter girl. Or, yeah. Basically, all they really had to do was hire some hot actress and be like, look, see, she's a Democrat. And that'd probably help. But they couldn't even do that. They're that bad. Well, once again, the meme. Men are easy. Just be nice to them. Many women fail this simple task.
If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but
Yeah, the Epstein thing has disillusioned a lot of people. And like I said earlier, Owen Schroyer has just been like hammering it at how badly Trump has handled it. I don't think people are going back to the Democrats necessarily, but the Democrats are going to campaign on it. So
Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second. That's better. So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No, You can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below. I'll give it a little heart. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit. Bye!
Yeah, so that was Shu's video. Let me drop a link in the channel if you wanna check out her video or subscribe to her, all that stuff. She's cool.